Hello, everyone. You got myself, K-Mack, on K-Mack's football chat tonight. I've been really busy recently on other people's channels, basically just guesting and being a panel and, doing call-ins. At the end of the day, we're all football fans, and we all want to talk about our club and we want to talk about what's been going on. And I have been a lot recently. And I've not really had any guests on from other channels. I've not really delved into that. I've basically just been getting a couple of people that I know as friends, as my friends, who obviously interested in football, talk about football. So I thought tonight I'll get some other people on. And I also thought that I'd kind of just leave it open in case anybody else wanted to come on and just have a chat themselves. So, you're more than welcome to jump in. You're more than welcome to ask me some questions about, what you think, vent off any anger or any thoughts that you've got at the moment around Liverpool, around football in general, because that's obviously what I like talking about. And I've got someone coming in now. Big up Redbird, by the way. I did have someone coming in, but they've vanished. Hopefully we'll get them in again. And what I will do though is I will put the link in the chat now, and anyone who wants to jump in, feel free to get involved. It's in there now. Also, I think I've also put a question in there as well. If you've got any Liverpool related questions, I'm more than welcome to pop them in the chat, and we can obviously talk a little bit more. Let's see what Redbird's got to say. He's been on Jack's channel and a couple of the panel trying to convince us Jude was brainwashed. Said we're talking crap because we said Jude went to Real Madrid. I've actually got something really interesting to say about Jude, which not a lot of people know. So a friend of mine, he works in IT distribution, and he deals with a lot of IT distributors around the country. And he's got a friend who plays amateur football in Birmingham. And hi, Albert. The link's there if you want to jump in, mate. And he's got a friend who works in Birmingham, and he plays amateur football. And he plays amateur football with Jude Bellingham's dad, Mark. And Mark Bellingham has never, ever said that Jude Bellingham's even been in talks with Liverpool, has any interest in going to Liverpool. He said that he's always going to Real Madrid, and he has been for the last year and a half. So, it makes perfect sense that when they asked Jude about his transfer to Real Madrid, why, and it's all come up that it's because Real Madrid beat Liverpool in the final. Well, that happened a year and a half ago, so it kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense now in a way, but it's really interesting because he's never been anything other than Real Madrid. Join when you want, mate. If it was Cody Gapgo as your name on the thing, then I'll let you in. Okay. He said he was Real Madrid. Yeah, exactly. So that was a while ago. But the thing about it is, from the horse's mouth, which is his dad, who plays amateur football with my mate in Birmingham. He's always said Real Madrid. He's always said Real Madrid. But the thing about Jude Bellingham is he was never in our wage structure in any shape or form. Like, we are not going to pay 300 million as an entire package. Just like we were never going to pay the 250 million package that Haaland went for. We're not in that stratosphere. We're not a club that's going to jeopardize our entire existence in paying agents, wages, contracts, transfer fees. That's just not how we run our club. And we all need to be real. Like, we like that. We like the fact that we don't do that. Like, there's so many people that are so annoyed with FSG not spending like 100 million on a player and 200 million on all of this madness. We don't want that as our club. Like, if we start doing that every single year, then we're going to end up just being like Chelsea and Man United. And we're going to make big mistakes because we will sign an £150 million dud and it's going to ruin our club. So we can't get into that. We can't get into that mentality of being a club that's going to be able to do that, because we just don't do that. And I don't mind it. I don't mind being a well-run club that is going to survive, that doesn't need state-owned owners, that doesn't need some kind of beneficiary to put all his money in his pocket to keep us alive. We keep ourselves alive, and that's what FSG have done. They've ran us, so we run ourselves. All they do is own us. That's it. They own the asset. We run ourselves. Everything that goes into the club goes back out of the club, and it goes on the club. There's no hidden trapdoor. There's no bit of money that we don't know about. That's how the club is ran. Okay, big up though, Redbird. That got me juices flowing. So I appreciate that. I've got a guest there now, Albert. So I'll get him on.
Yeah, man. What up?
Hello, man. Hello. We are not going to argue tonight, okay?
No, of course we're not going to argue. But you guess what? We're football fans, right? What's a football fan? How many football fans do you know who agree all the time? That's that when you agree all the time.
We'll have debate. We'll have debate, but like,
yeah.
Let's not going to get out of control like that was. That was nuts.
Hey, we support the most passionate football team in the world, man. We have a lot of history. We've paid with supporters' lives to be Liverpool supporters, right?
Absolutely.
So let's 97 plus 38. Let's keep it burning, man.
I've got Amir on as well. Amir's been a bit he's been a bit more angry than I've been.
Yeah, man. I've been very, very upset today, man. I've been very upset today.
Oh, go on then. Tell us what's going on then.
Well,
I'll just let Albert talk first.
It's the whole Jude thing, man. Look, I listened to the kid say that he was in Zidane's box for the Champions League final, right? And right after the match, he was convinced he should join Real Madrid. First of all, how didn't we know that he was in Zidane's box? How did we not know that? And how long ago let's just take him at his word. How long ago was the final? Why have we been twerking, not replacing our managers, taking a shower with the kid, taking him on dates, giving him a dirty massage, complete with prostitutes and whatever? Well, what the hell was that all about? Right? We've kept our whole team on stills because of this kid. When the kid and his family knew that they were going to go join Real Madrid, right? So if I want to triangulate and use a gyroscope of events, that boy is more or less responsible for where we are today playing Europa. Because if we had just gotten one player, one midfielder to augment our team, we don't play Europa, right? And I'm like, what were our people doing? Where were they sleeping? But it's already happened. So what else? You know?
I've got something to add on to that, and I'll let you speak in a minute, Amir. So basically, I feel like when we didn't get Tchouaméni, and obviously, you know, he was the one Klopp wanted. I just feel like I feel like Jude was the scapegoat, and it was probably decided, look, I just don't want to buy a midfielder. Like, I really want to wait for the right one, and we didn't get him. And because Klopp's got so much control, that they've literally used Jude as the scapegoat. Like, that's who we're going to use. We'll just say we're after Jude. Like, we know Jude's going to Real Madrid. Like, he was in the director's box with Zidane. His dad has always said he's going to Real Madrid. Like, his dad has never said he's not going to Real Madrid. Like, a friend of mine works in Birmingham and he plays football with his dad. And he's never said he's not going to Real Madrid for like the last year and a half. So it's already been planned. And the thing about it as well with Jude, like, we know that his future is planned. Like, they have an idea of the timeline and where he's going to go, what he's going to do, where he's going to end up. Real Madrid was definitely somewhere in there. Like, Liverpool might have been a conversation, but it might have just been a conversation in Liverpool, like with people in Liverpool. You know, just like Barella. Like, there's people in Newcastle talking about Barella, but Barella's never going to Newcastle. Like, because Barella is going to stay in Inter Milan because he's treated like a god there, and he's not moving to Newcastle. Like, he's not going to play there ever. So it's a bit one of those things. It's like, have they just used it as a media spin because they never got Tchouaméni, and Klopp was like, well, I don't want any midfielders then. I'm going to wait for the next one. Like, what do you think, Amir?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there. I think 100% that when we were looking at like Tchouaméni, we were, Klopp wanted to sign him, and then like Tchouaméni at the last minute said he wanted to join Real Madrid, right? And then Klopp was just like, nah, I'm gonna just wait for the next midfielder. I'm gonna just wait, and then we didn't sign any midfielders just then, and then we got to 5th place, and then now here we are. We needed to sign midfielders again. So hopefully we get Kefren Turam. I feel like he's a great player. He's a physical specimen. He's good at dribbling, and he can run like he's 6'4", but he can run like he's 5'9". Like, I'm just like, wow, this guy is special. He has a high ceiling for me. And Kone or Vega, I'm not really sure who you guys want, but for me, I wouldn't mind either. But for me, I'd probably go with Kone because he can play on that defensive 6. But yeah, and then we need a left-footed center back. Inacio is the priority for me. Mickey Van de Ven, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on Mickey Van de Ven because like he's just like underwhelming to me, you know. But yeah, what do you guys think?
That's the thing about it, isn't it? Like, a lot of our signings are underwhelming.
Yeah,
we get them, but then they're very overwhelming after a couple of
months. Sorry.
No, go on.
No, go on.
I personally am not the kind who gives too much credence to the numbers. Okay, Because
Yeah.
if we're taking Alexis McAllister as an example, that guy is worth at least twice what we paid for him, right? If we had the money and we were told Alexis McAllister was a 70 million pound player, you take him any day. There are many of us, myself included. If you put Declan Rice down and you put Alexis McAllister down for the same amount of money, I'm taking Alexis McAllister any day, all day, twice on Sunday. I'm doing that because he's a better player.
Absolutely.
So
I think he's better than Jude. I think he's better than Jude right now.
Yeah, well, Jude is marketing hype, right? Jude is marketing hype. I've said it, but hey, it's not a popular opinion. So sometimes, you just learn not to anger people. That hey, there are many midfielders, as we call them today, who are better than Jude, right? But they just don't have the what you call it, the marketing thing. He's a well marketed commodity. Jude is a commodity. He's not even a human being, a footballer anymore. He's a commodity. There are many things that comes with Jude that's more of the commercial than anything else. Look, you guys, those of you who watch the World Cup, you saw Mohamed Kudus. Given Jude and Kudus, all things being equal, which of them do you pick? Of course you pick Kudus, but he doesn't have that marketing thing, Look, ask me about this kid or this Italian boy, not Barella, the other midfielder.
Tonali.
Sorry?
Tonali.
Tonali.
Oh.
He's a better player than Jude.
Yeah.
Rodri.
I can't even talk about Rodri. He is just unbelievable.
He's just on another different level, man.
Yeah, Rodri is on a different planet. Give me Rodri any day. So there are other players. I mean, we could have a difference in opinion as to who is better. Okay. Another kid, Musiala. Give me Jamal Musiala any day. See, I have this thing for players who can take a team and drag them, and even against the will of his fellow players, and get them to achieve results. Right? So, yes, Jude is an excellent player. His ceiling is really high. He'll most probably be a superstar of sorts. But the game has a lot of expanse. So he's not going to be the only superstar. So if you have an option, you take it. It's at the end of the day, it's player for the pound, right? It's player for the pound, not so. It's not just the player and you pay any amount of money you like for him. Because history has shown us that most of the time when you spend too much money on players, you don't get the right results. Look at Lukaku twice. Chelsea got nothing for paying 100 million pounds. Manchester United got almost nothing for paying 90 million pounds. Look at Pogba. Look at Anthony, the circus clown. And I could go on and on and on. Our own history, we paid for Aquilani at the time.
I mean, you only have to look at Dortmund. Look at Jadon Sancho.
Exactly.
Yeah. That was an insane amount of money.
And now Sancho is somebody who every now and then his manager sends him to Holland to, I don't know,
lose some weight.
Go pick tulips or something to free his mind. But see, so, and then there are others like Akanji, Julian Alvarez, our own Robertson. I could go on and on and on. Gini Wijnaldum. So it's player for the pound. But there's also this thing where our owners simply don't want to spend money to make the team better. They are more interested in improving the bricks and mortar of our team, increasing the value, and then selling for a whopping profit and going away. That also is not healthy for the team, because long term or medium to long term, you drive down the value of the asset because we are not achieving results. For example, as we speak now, we will probably have a 60 million euro hole in our accounts next year because we are not playing Champions League. That's a problem. So it's it's a balance.
But I
Everything.
think that's probably the balance with the players that have left, because that's probably gonna give us the wages, which
Absolutely.
you
I
have
mean,
to look at it like that. You have to
I
look at it
did a
like that.
calculation.
Yeah.
I did a calculation, and it was £615,000 a week to get rid of those
insane.
4 players.
It's
So
insane. What have you got to say anyway? I don't know your name. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's Emmanuel. That's my
No,
friend.
that's Iman.
Emmanuel.
Yeah, that's Emmanuel. Yeah.
Nice to meet you, mate. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What have you got to say about the whole Jude situation then? We're kind of talking about that
Me,
because it's on everyone's mind right now.
me, personally, I am kind of salty. I did want him to come to the club, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. In my opinion, I always hold this opinion. I've always wanted a player that would love to come to the club, that would have the passion to come to the club no matter what. And when he came out with that interview or whatever he said, when he was like, it was not about the money and whatever, I think that's just BS. I think it is. Maybe Madrid was on his plans. I don't know what. But at the end of the day, I don't have time to worry about players that don't want to play for us. I want a player that wants to come here and genuinely wants to be a part of here. At Real Madrid, yes, he'll be another superstar. And he'll probably take his career to the next level and win trophies. Great. But here at Liverpool, I feel like the way when we signed Alexis McAllister, like he's not the best player in the world, but you saw the reception. Every time we sign a player, it's amazing. Imagine if Bellingham came. Imagine the love he would receive and the admiration. So my opinion is, it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but I don't have time to worry about a player that doesn't want to play for us. So
Like
that's all we need.
I was talking on the channel just like before anyone jumped on, and I honestly felt like if we got Jude, it could actually cripple Liverpool FC as an institution.
Yeah. We wouldn't have signed any other
I honestly
player.
felt like Jude could actually make us have to sell to some other people that we really don't want to sell to. The whole package is probably 300 million. Like he's on almost like 150 grand more than Mo Salah, because you've got English tax as well.
Yeah.
You've also got the fact that his dad's getting paid, his agent's getting paid. Everybody's getting that little slice of the pie, and that's a really unsavory type of thing that I want. When we've literally just got someone who's probably better right now, probably done more, at a better level, never injured, like ever.
Yeah.
And
you got to worry about that knee he has strapped up as well.
Yeah, it's the knee strap. Yeah.
We're literally on the verge of signing 2 more midfielders, and their wages will be less than Jude's for all 3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's crazy.
That is just sensible. Like, I don't mind being sensible. Like, I don't want to be a Chelsea. Like, and we can all sit there and this is what I said as well. We can all sit there and go, oh yeah, we want Mbappe and we want all of these players and we want to, and why can't we pay them 500 grand a week, all of them? Like, okay. And in a year's time, then we'll all be like, why on earth are we like this now? Like, and what do we want? Do we want plastic fans? Do we want plastic flag wavers? Because everything will be corporate. We will sell ourselves out.
I'll tell you what, K-Mack, you're making a brilliant point. See, there's something that a lot of fans don't know about when it comes to footballers, and it's the rivalry in the dressing room. What made us lose Sadio Mane was the amount of money that Salah was given. Rightly or wrongly, we Africans said Sadio Mane was our best player 2 seasons running, right? He was Africa's best player 2 seasons running. And then he was playing with the guy who came second to him, and the guy was earning more than twice his wages. That's the reason why he left. Anybody can spend it anyhow they like. If you know footballers, that's why. I'm going to a point. I'm saying that the last thing you want to do is to bring a 19-year-old kid into the Liverpool dressing room and pay him £50,000 more than you are paying Mo Salah.
Agree. He hasn't proven anything.
You pay him twice the amount of money you are paying Virgil.
the crazy thing about it as well is everyone was kicking off about Mo Salah, and I was sat there going, I'm sorry, like, but if your best player, yeah, who plays every single game, who breaks records every single day,
Agree.
isn't getting paid the most at your club, then there's something wrong with how you're running your club. Because
Mo
he's the
Salah
first
deserves-
person on the sheet, and he's
Mo
the last
Salah
person
deserves
off
every
the actual
single
pitch.
cent. Every single cent he gets. For a guy who has missed 3 games in 5 years
That's crazy.
due to injury, we should even be paying him more. You know, he deserves every cent he gets. And so you don't bring a 19-year-old kid with a bum knee and you come and pay him £50,000. You know what happens? What you call it? The central defenders run a little less harder, right? When they are caught out. Virgil and Konate will run a little less harder and tell him to come do the running. Salah will be a little less, enthusiastic. When he gets the ball, you call him to come and take the ball and go and score. You breed a lot of problems in the dressing room. So for many of us who want to apply common sense to what happened with Jude, it's all about the deception and the timing. Because somebody knew that it wasn't going to happen. And we should have moved on from there at least a season ago. And we wouldn't be where we are. But maybe the great thing about being where we are is that we've actually infused, or we are preparing to infuse some players into the team. Because I have a very good source who's telling me Thuram is done. Let's hope that's true.
Yeah.
Let's hope we get either Kone or Viega. Either way, I prefer Viega. But either way, anything that guarantees me less of Henderson and Elliott, I'm taking all day.
You know what's funny as well? You know what's funny? I've just thought about what you said then. Players will start not running as hard. But the interesting thing about it is what okay, what if Trent and Hendo literally, came up with the idea, you know what? We'll try and persuade Jude to come to Liverpool because he'll get paid mega bucks, and then we can go into the boss and say, well, we got you, Jude. Can we have new contracts? We want
That's exactly what they would do. And I tell you what, most of our senior players' contracts are coming up for renewal, right? Bring Jude in and give him the 400K that he and his father were asking, and we're in trouble. How do you bring Jude in, give him 400K, and when Trent's time comes up for renewal, you give him any less than 400K?
Exactly.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you do Konate? How do you do? It's just gonna look. It's okay that it's gone. Sometimes God has a way of telling you are going the wrong way, but we as human beings, we don't listen. Let him go. My issue is the shit he was saying today that we are pretending we didn't know. And the people at Liverpool, including our manager, should be very ashamed of themselves for stringing the supporters along as long as they have. When the kid had indicated to you guys long ago that he wasn't gonna play for us.
He's going to get a lot of hate as well. He's going to get a lot of hate off Liverpool fans, and that's not really fair. It's not really fair. At the end of the day, if he was always going to Real Madrid, and we kind of just decided that we were gonna use him as a scapegoat as the reason why we never signed anyone, then that's bad. That's not good.
Then the reason why what you're saying is true is that Klopp is still looking for Tchouaméni and Valverde. That's what authenticates what you're saying. He hasn't gotten over that thing that he didn't get. He didn't get
Tchouaméni.
He didn't get Tchouaméni. He's still fantasizing over Tchouaméni.
I mean, he's worth fantasizing over. Like, Tchouaméni is an incredible footballer. Like, if we'd have got him, we certainly wouldn't be having this conversation about, why we didn't get into the top 4, because we would have probably come second. Like, he is that good. He is an absolute monster. Like, him in midfield would have made a huge, huge difference. Huge difference.
Everybody in midfield would have made a huge difference, K-Mack, even you.
I can't run, so no.
Because you couldn't have, listen, you couldn't have done worse. You couldn't have done worse than your team captain, who actually stops a free kick from going into the net. And he actually becomes the butt of jokes from his manager and
I know.
his fellow players. I
I
mean,
find that insane.
it's unbelievable.
I find that insane. I just find the fact that he never got subbed. Like, they always took other players off, and you're like, he's the issue. It's that guy running around shouting at people and not tackling or heading or winning any duels. He's the problem. He's leaving big gaps everywhere, and he just leaves him on. Right.
He's you know, I had the, let's say, the privilege or not, or unprivileged, no, I don't know the English words to use, of seeing him a few times, and against West Ham at the London Stadium, he was awful. He was awful. I mean, for the goal that we conceded, the one, was it Paqueta scored? Was it either Paqueta or Ben Rama?
Yeah.
One of them?
It's weird.
I think it was Paqueta. Yeah.
He shouts at
He
Nunes
just
where to
ran
be.
past him as if he wasn't there. He just completely ran past him as if he wasn't there.
It's weird. He
And-
shouts at Nunes in the box. He goes, mark him, and you're
Yeah.
like, why don't you mark him? Like,
Why don't you mark him?
Area.
Yeah, mark him,
He walks
and then
away.
after they mark him, and then after they scores, he comes to blame him. I thought that was so funny.
That's why Trent tells him to fuck off. Like, honestly,
Yeah, Trent was.
Trent's tired of that. He's like, man, just get out.
Was that the match where Alisson had a go at him?
Yeah,
Was that the Ali game? Was that
Yeah.
the game where Ali just started
Yeah.
started shouting at him like, "What are you doing, you idiot?" Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's and if you see the players' interactions on the pitch, like in a live game, they don't give a crap about him. All he does is he just shouts and they just tell him to fuck off.
He's a shouting merchant, basically. He's a shouting
half
merchant.
of the time, Trent has his hand up there like piss off.
such a
you know.
shame though, because he was a really good player, and he's just
Yeah.
declined, and we should have just got rid of him.
We
It's
should have
like,
got rid of him 2 years ago.
It's a little bit embarrassing. It's like,
Why would you give him a 4-year contract? See,
Yeah.
that's
He went
that's
to the
Klopp's
press.
problem. Why would you give him a 4-year contract? At worst, give him 2 with an option to renew. That's what you do to a 31-year-old. You've basically encumbered the team with 7.3 million pounds worth of salary encumbrances every year, which was completely unnecessary. That guy is on 140k a week. That's a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
You know,
we have a
in
habit of giving players a lot of money. Like,
in football, there's a lot of wastage of funds that doesn't occur in any other endeavor, and it's simply because it's supporters' money. Most of the time, basically, it's like an imprest that you don't have to account for. Why would you give that guy £140,000 a week? Because you can, right? Because you can. I mean, why would you do that?
You know what's crazy as well is we just got rid of obviously Oxlade-Chamberlain's left. Alexis McAllister's on the same wages as him. Like,
Oxlade was on.
Chamberlain's.
Ox was on
Chamberlain's signed that
165,
contract 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That's insane how much he was getting paid.
Yeah, he was on 165. Keita was
Insane.
on 120. I mean,
Insane.
they've made some serious money, man. They've made some serious money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the bonuses as well, because they're on really big bonuses for us winning trophies and actually getting into finals. Pond, if you want to jump in, the link's there. So jump in, mate, if you want to have a chat.
And you know the way they do it is like, even when you're injured, you get paid, right? When you're incapacitated, you get paid your full salary. So,
You're throwing yourself down the stairs.
I watched Keita yesterday against Guinea, against Egypt. That guy simply ran down his contract because he played 90 minutes of the Keita that we wanted.
Oh,
Even
my.
had an assist, right? And he absolutely didn't show any signs that there was anything wrong with him. So, as far as I can see or I can tell, dude, simply he just decided to run out his contract. That's all he decided to do.
Do you remember when? Do you remember when he got called up to the Guinea team and he was supposed to be injured?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Bro, I'm really surprised he even like passed his medicals.
It was
in
a mix-up. It was a mix-up.
And he's supposed to be 27 years, but that's another conversation for another day.
No, that's another Carnu. He's definitely in his 30s.
Yeah.
Just what
Come on,
most of
Edmir,
those,
then let's hear some of the stuff you've got to say then, mate. Come on. You can talk about anything you want. Transfers, FSG, Liverpool, Klopp.
From the news that I've been hearing a lot from the rivals that Qatar has basically won a purchase of buying Manchester United. And if that happens, that really just makes me sad. But like, it's just, I can't imagine, United just dominating for the next decade, like in the 90s, like they did. But I really just don't want Qatar to buy Man United, because then it's just gonna be pain all over again, man. So that's all I gotta say, and I just hope Sir Jim Ratcliffe wins the race, hopefully. So,
but they still buy expensive players.
Yeah, they still buy expensive players.
I don't understand what the difference would be. Like, you mean them like rebuilding their stadium, or
more structure,
more structure, getting the football brains behind the scenes, working hard, and like getting the proper sporting director.
I think they've done that the last year. Like they got better people in at Man United, like to work behind the scenes. But they still sign dubs.
Amir, have you ever lived near rich neighbors before?
Have I ever lived near rich neighbors? No, I haven't.
Okay, because you can be on the same street as rich neighbors and their kids don't turn out better than you do. So don't worry about them. As long as you do what you need to do. Right? That's the only thing. Manchester United have always had more money than us. From the days of Norman Whiteside. When they signed Norman Whiteside, they signed him for an amount of money that had never been done before, right? It had never happened before. They signed a 17-year-old kid called Norman Whiteside. I don't know if you guys have read about him. He was supposed to be...
Was he the first £1 million? Was he the first £1 million player?
No. The first £1 million player was Trevor Francis.
Trevor
Francis. But Norman Whiteside at 17 came in for an incredible amount of money. He didn't end it. Look at the players they buy. Go through Pogba. Go through what's that guy's name?
Sancho, Anthony.
Darmian.
What's the name? Martial.
Yeah,
go through them. They look at the amount of money they paid them. Look at the amount of money they paid their goalkeeper. So our problems begin when we do nothing. When we take the do nothing option, that's when our problems begin. If you have Alexis McAllister, Thuram, Gabriel Veiga, Kone, and you don't have Henderson playing 90 minutes, nobody can beat you. You may not win all your matches, but you don't get beaten. I mean, we have one of the best goalkeepers in the world, if not the best goalkeeper in the world.
Thank God.
Yeah, so, but for Alisson, we'll probably have been 15th. So I don't really worry about what others do. You all remember what Chelsea did. They went to buy Kanichuku, Emeka, and all those players, useless players they went to buy, right? and they haven't done any better. Even the much vaunted Enzo, right? Enzo Fernandez cost them £105 million. Enzo Fernandez is not a £105 million player. No way. Right? Yeah. So let's worry about what we do. If we worry about what we do best, which is get players good bang for our buck, £20 per player, I don't worry about who bought Manchester United, because they'll only be trying to catch up. As far as they are concerned, their sewers are still getting clogged up. At least our sewers are not getting clogged up. So they have work to do. They don't have a training ground like we do at AXA. They have a Carrington that you only have to listen to Cristiano Ronaldo to know where that stadium is, where
It's a
that stadium is.
shithole.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's terrible.
let's do what we have to do. If you live, like I said once again, if you live near rich neighbors, that doesn't mean that you go hungry. They may be eating their steaks and caviar. You can eat your peanut butter and a candy bar. You still get nutrition. You don't worry about what they do.
The
Yes,
crazy thing about it is we have only been we've been quite close to being at the top of the pile all the time. And we have been against odds because we've been fighting against the club, which have done everything behind the scenes, which is ugly. You know, they've paid off their stadium by using their state country. You know, they paid a manager like double his wages, and you didn't even know that he was getting paid another wage until recently. They bought like one of the best players in the world with a fake company that paid for him. You know, they've done loads and loads of stuff.
The airline paid for Aguero, right?
They've done loads of dodgy stuff, and we've still been this close. We don't need to worry about anyone else. We just need to worry about ourselves. And it looks like we are now starting to worry about ourselves. I've got a question there. Do you want to pick it up, Aymar, or is it Ruben? Is it Ruben? What's your name again, mate?
Amir and Iman.
Iman. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
What
is the question?
That question.
Question: why do Liverpool
From Ravi
have to be sentimental? You won't see Bayern, Real, Barca, even City being sentimental. They know to freshen things up. Yeah, I agree. About the money thing, look, here's my problem. Personally, I think if they buy higher quality players, yeah, we may get our gems for like we may get our gems, and so whatever the case may be, but like if those players end up working out, they're gonna have stronger teams. And if they get proper managers, if they get the right structure behind them, it can be really difficult, even if we do worry about ourselves. The problem with Qatar buying Man United is they're already strong commercially. Now they've been in debt. You wipe out that debt and you add Qatari money to that. Newcastle, you got to worry about. Arsenal are being ambitious. They're looking to get Rice. Chelsea still spending, I don't even know how. They're looking at Caicedo. It's just so many. And it makes it kind of difficult because, yeah, Liverpool,
Chelsea,
we're trying our best, but like how much longer until they catch up and then, they start stealing our targets, you know what I'm saying? We start missing out on Champions League football and it becomes a regular.
They won't steal our targets because the targets that we're after aren't those players. They're not those players, and I like the fact that we're shopping in the places where we should be shopping, because what's made Liverpool so great is the players we sign aren't the finished articles, and they're not the players that are hyped. We don't go after those players, which is the reason why I was probably a little bit annoyed that we were going after Tchouameni, if I'm honest, because he was going to be 80 million. He was going to be a really, really expensive player. And what happens when you go for really, really expensive players at Liverpool? You don't get them. Them. They choose other clubs because they're really, really expensive players because other clubs are looking at them. So many players we go for, we have completely a free run on them. If we'd have waited another year and we hadn't have tied down the Virgil van Dijk deal the year before, he'd have gone to Man City. If Man City would have been at the door when we were talking to him the year before, he'd have chose Man City. That's a fact. It's because we tied it up and we had an agreement with him, and he's the type of guy that sat on his agreement and said, if you wait a year, then I'll come to you. Then he did. And if you look at all the players that we're targeted with now, there's no one else around them. There's nobody else. Like we were never really in for Enzo. That was never a fact. We were never really in for Jude Bellingham. That wasn't a fact either. These players that have gone for mega bucks, we've never been in the conversation. Even in the Mbappe one, the only reason Mbappe's linked with us is because his mum's a Liverpool supporter. That is it. There's nothing about Mbappe that wants to come to Liverpool. apart from his mum's a supporter, and he doesn't even know why.
I mean, there's anybody who knows Liverpool. You have to slap me upside the head to tell me that a guy will leave Paris, the heady lights of Paris, and come and live on Merseyside. It doesn't even begin to make sense.
That's a really good point, because Liverpool is not a great place to live in.
No, it's not.
It's not. I'm from Liverpool. I moved out when I was 18, and I've never been back to Liverpool to live there.
No, it's not. You know, when you get to Lime Street, right? K-Mack, when you get to Lime Street, from Lime Street, I normally walk. It's a 2.25 mile walk. I normally walk. I don't even bother with the stadium bus because it's just like, So I just walk. And along the road, there are so many abandoned homes, empty shells, grass lots. And you wonder, and then you find out the history of what the Tories wanted to do to Liverpool. And then you understand why Liverpoolians are so bitter, even when the national anthem is being played, they jeer. You have to actually know what goes on there. Look, to be honest with you, Anfield is in the middle of nowhere. Really.
Anfield is in an absolute shithole area, by the way.
I didn't want to say.
If people actually been and had a walk around, it is a bad area. Okay?
Yeah, it's more like Peasantville, really. It's Peasantville completely.
It really is. He's not lying.
It's true.
Breck Road is not nice.
Yeah, if you really want to know, and I wish it's not an inexpensive endeavor, but if you really want to know and you really visit to actually see our team playing where they are, it's in the middle. It's the middle of Peasantville, really. On the way to the place from the station, there's like 60% of the homes are uninhabited. I mean, fucking ginger mints, grass lots all the way. You get there, and so to ask somebody, and most of the players live halfway between Liverpool and Manchester.
They live in Manchester. They live closer to Manchester than Liverpool. Yeah. All the Liverpool players. Yeah. That's a fact.
So because of that, they don't drive to the training ground. All the players come to Liverpool and then come to Anfield, and then they are transported in the buses to a training ground, because the AXA training ground is also in the middle of nowhere. So you need to know, like, we have a storied history. There's no two ways about it. But it's a certain kind of player who thrives in Liverpool. It's the reason why Aquilani didn't work out. You don't bring a player who knows the lights of Rome, and you bring him to Liverpool, he won't thrive, because Aquilani's problem was every weekend he was back in Italy, because it was difficult for him to assimilate, But as far as we are concerned, we have a certain kind of player that does well in Liverpool. So for me, it's the reason why many Scottish and Irish players have done well in Liverpool, because the kind of environment that they are used to from whence they came, Stevie Nicol, Ray Kennedy,
Andy Robinson,
Ray Houghton, name them. Even our boy, what do you call him? Our captain, Henderson.
Henderson. He was born in Sunderland.
From whence they came. You have to have a certain appreciation for the environment that Liverpool is in. It's one of the reasons why I've told everybody, forget about Declan Rice. You forget about Mason Mount. You can't get a London
City boys.
You can't get a Cockney kid to come to Liverpool and come and play football. He half of the time he won't be there. Most of our players live near Manchester. They don't live.
The reason why Raheem Sterling left.
That's why he left. Yeah, that's why he left. So
he's from QPR. He was a member then.
We need to put ourselves in perspective, the kind of players that we're going to get. Anybody tells you we are going to get a superstar guy, that's why I don't even talk about Barella. To ask somebody to leave Milan,
no chance.
and come to Liverpool,
No
you don't
chance.
know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking
You know
about.
what's really interesting that you just said then is you have to look at the type of players that we're getting as well. They're family
Absolutely.
guys. They're friends with other players that we have. You know,
Exactly.
it's the whole tight-knit family that works. And that is, that is a genius thing from Klopp. But that's
But
just
I
not
have a
from Klopp,
question.
by the way. That goes a long way back. That goes back to the boot room. That goes back to the Shankly days and the Paisley days when we were just this tight-knit group. And we just had so many players that would just run through brick walls for each
When
other.
Shankly brought the team from the second division, at the time that it was called, today we call it the championship, nobody knew any player.
No.
Nobody knew any player. Nobody knew Kevin Keegan. Nobody knew any of the players. Ray Clemens. Nobody knew them. So that has been our tradition. So sometimes, unfortunately, we the fans are riled up most of the time, and I add myself, it's because of the attitude of our owners. We've got PTSD from the way our owners behave. So we even refuse to cut them slack where we should, right? And their own deceptiveness is also part of the problem. So I am not, I don't feel sorry for FSG in any way, shape, or form. Whatever disenchantment they brought to some of the fan base, it's their own doing because they don't tell the truth. Very deceptive lot.
And at the end of the day, they have their media. They literally paid the media to spin that story about us being sold. 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
That was a media campaign to get us off their back so they wouldn't have to dip into
and
the
they
money.
knew it's just like going with your kid, going with your kid to the store, and the kid wants to bring the mannequin home. You need to find something to tell the kid, the mannequin is evil or something, let's say something. And
They didn't have that toy left in the shop.
right. Until your whole idea is just to get the kid home before the kid creates a scene, and before you realize it, you have cops all over you. So you have to find a way, convince the child that the mannequin is Dr. Evil or something, and then when you get what you want done, then it's done. So I am hoping and praying that Europa will find a way of becoming a blessing. And we move from there, and never again should we find ourselves in the place where we find ourselves, win 7-0 against Manchester United, and then the next week lose to Bournemouth, win 9-0 against Bournemouth, and go lose.
Some of the games we have witnessed this season are just insane.
Yeah,
they are just insane. Like some of the first halves we've had are just mind blowing, and then the drop off the next game is just I can't blame anyone else. I can't blame anyone else but the manager. I just can't.
It's him. It's him. He got his. He departed from his core competence, right? Which was being the coach and the manager, the coach of the team and the manager of the players. He departed from his core competency and started dabbling in other things, and where he didn't belong. The staff, those staff members who knew the job, started leaving, resigning in protest, and FSG obviously were asleep at the switch until their bottom line was hit. Track back when did J.W. Henry come to London? He came to London for the West Ham match. That is when we all knew that most probably we were not going to get top 4. There was no Champions League. I'm sure that was the time he was made aware. And he was like, hey, my God, get out of this place and go back. Go back and go and manage that team. Like, do that, like, right now. And then we have now, if Milner hadn't said it himself, we wouldn't have known that Klopp wanted to keep him, and the team said no. We would never have known.
What's really interesting though is a couple of our own players have come out and said we need more players. Like we need to be signing more players. And I think that never happens. Never happens.
Because they are frustrated. Our sentiments are not different from theirs. What we complain about every day is what they complain about every day on a daily basis. I mean, how would you feel if you are Konate, who keeps getting hamstrings left, right, and center?
Because he's doing two jobs.
Yeah, doing two jobs. Yeah, yeah. That's what's gonna happen.
Did you hear what he said about? Did you hear what he said about Thuram?
Yeah.
Called him his little brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that he would do anything to make him a top player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he also said something that has been missed.
I want that. I like that mentality. I like that.
He said something to
and
that has been missed.
Thuram's best mates with Kone.
Yeah. He said something to that.
Why would you not want that trio of like French internationals who all know each other really well?
For real.
Like, literally.
Have you noticed we're targeting players like with fathers who's like ex-players and are now advising their son's future?
It's fantastic.
To come to Liverpool. It's fantastic, man. Yeah.
Well,
most of the
parents have figured out that we could take those agents' fees. Most of the parents have figured out.
You know what? I don't understand why they didn't figure that out a long time ago.
It evolved.
All you had to see was Tiger Woods. There's your blueprint. Tiger Woods and the Serena sisters. Just look at those and go, hang on a minute. We can make loads of money just being their agents.
Do you know that according to the way the system that they have in place in Dortmund, they are going to pay some of the monies to Jude's father, to the family. They're going to pay Jude's family, like they're going to give him part of the transfer fee, the family part of the transfer fee.
That's what happened with Haaland.
Right. And then his father
20%.
Right. And then his father also happens to be his agent. So his dad might end up making out more than, making more money than the kid. And hey, £400,000 a week is not small money,
What happens next though? Can you imagine if he'd come to us and he'd been earning 400,000? What happens in 3 years' time? What, he wants a pay rise?
Well, hey, Mark, we couldn't have afforded him, We couldn't have
afforded him. Would have crippled us. Would have bankrupted us.
We couldn't have afforded. It would have brought serious dislocations to the dressing room. And players have a way of rebelling, man. Do you see what the Aston Villa players did to Steven Gerrard? They'll keep losing. Tyrone Mings scored 4 own goals in succession.
Yeah, he wanted him out.
Yeah,
they wanted him out because he literally said that Tyrone Mings is a terrible player, which he is, by the way. I don't disagree with Gerrard.
He should audition for Karate Kid 4.
It's awful. him and Maguire for England centre backs is just frightening.
But they played together as England centre backs before, right?
I know, it's just frightening.
Yeah. He's a terrible player. He's a terrible, terrible player. I mean, against Villa, I was at Anfield. He shouldn't have lasted the whole match. The referee simply refused to send him off.
Did you see the
marks? That should have been a red card.
Did you see the marks on him when he lifted his shirt up?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. There was big marks. There was these huge marks. And I was just like, wow.
Klopp called them the Adidas marks.
But the thing about that, which got me the most, is it wasn't just he got a yellow card, so it was a foul. He should have been sent off because he was the last man. Red.
Yeah.
No, but he was the last man. He should have been sent off for being the last man. He was clean through on goal.
Incidentally, when the incident happened, the Liverpool doctors or the physios, whatever the health guys that came to attend to Gakpo, they took off his shirt on the pitch and they showed it to the ref. Right? They showed it to the ref. And he shook his head and said, no. And they were like, this is the guy's shirt. That's the evidence. And then they called him over to come and see the stripes on his chest.
Right down there.
Yeah, and he still did nothing. John Brooks was determined to, they started again. Look at the matches they gave us to start. They want to make sure that by the time by the 4th, 5th match, we're already out of it. But we need to advise ourselves. How can you give us Chelsea? How can you give us Chelsea and Newcastle? Yeah. Chelsea and Newcastle in 2 weeks.
Yeah. We need to understand that the referees and the FA, they don't want Liverpool to win.
No.
They never want Liverpool to win the league.
They don't care about us. They really don't.
They
Yeah.
don't. They
And
don't.
now that the
Otherwise,
Qataris-
why the hell would they have wanted the Liverpool fans to sing the national anthem? Like, why on earth would you even put that on at Anfield if you didn't want to make a scene and you didn't want that to end up in the papers? It's just like,
Look, I've told this story of when I was going to the Villa match. I bought the Sun newspaper on the train and I was reading it. So as I was going to the stadium, I was carrying the paper. I had actually even rolled it up. For some reason, I couldn't find a bin to bin it. So I was just holding it. What some Liverpool fans did to me, it was not funny, man.
the crazy thing about it is the Sun newspaper is not owned by the people that posted all that stuff about Hillsborough. The Mirror is now owned by the people who do that.
Exactly.
And the Liverpool fans don't boycott the Mirror, which doesn't make any sense. Like, you boycott it because of the people that own the newspaper organization that printed all the horrible stuff about Hillsborough.
Right. So I actually found out that they don't even allow the sale of the Sun newspaper in Liverpool. If they bring the Sun newspaper to Liverpool, mysteriously by the morning, it will all be gone.
Yeah, and you'll be gone as well.
Yeah. So I mean, the way they started yelling at me, I just left the paper and I just
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because I didn't want to return home in the cargo hold, the freezer hold of the aircraft. Just like.
Did you go to? Did you do the corporate facilities? Did you do
Yes,
the Carlsberg?
I went to the
fan
Shankly.
day.
I did the Shankly suite.
Yeah, I've done the Carlsberg fan day a couple of times. It's absolutely brilliant.
It's very nice. Very, very.
Anyone who like, I can't understand people who slate FSG I just can't understand it because it's just a really good day out. Like, it's a really good day out.
They've done a brilliant job.
Brilliant job.
Mortar. That's the truth. I mean,
Mhm.
but the squad depth is the most important thing.
No.
If your team is not winning, I mean, Everton nearly were about to go play the championship in their new stadium. So Spurs fans have the best stadium in football, and they're always griping all the time. Yeah, they claim Beyonce does better there than they do. So it's not just about the facility. It's the team must do well. Liverpool is used to doing well. We should do well.
It's crazy as well because Chelsea spent nearly 600 million in 2 transfer windows, and they were literally 2 games away from being relegated.
And their stadium is shit.
It's shit.
Yeah.
Like really shit. The worst part about the Chelsea stadium is access. If you've ever tried to go watch a match at Stamford Bridge, it is shit.
Yeah.
And the train stations around that place are the older train stations. The King's Road and all those stations. They are the older ones that have really not been refurbished. So man, after the match, it's difficult. You have to wait for the trains and it's difficult. And basically you can't take a car there.
It's crazy. It's crazy though, because there's so many clubs with such really bad stadiums, and it's supposed to be the most elite league in the world. There are so many clubs with terrible stadiums.
Yep.
We've got Luton coming soon. You have to go through someone's back garden.
It's 17,000 people. It's like the smallest stadium.
Kenilworth Road is shit.
Yeah. Did you see their main entrance on how they have to get in the stadium? It's just awful.
Another really bad stadium is Selhurst Park.
Yeah.
Really bad. That with Selhurst Park, the dressing rooms are even behind the stadium, and it's like a walk. You actually have to walk through like a park to get to the dressing rooms. It's really bad.
It's mad. It's mad. I think Saudi Arabia have got better stadiums than us now.
Craven Cottage is another terrible stadium.
Well, that's right
Craven
on the
Cottage.
waterfront as well, isn't it? So if they kick the ball out of the ground, it ends up going in the Thames.
Yeah, Craven Cottage is another terrible stadium. But thing is, the teams have a lot of money, but most of the money goes to the players. So
It does.
because
It
you
does go
have
to the
to
players.
you have to compete. You have to compete. Some of the players, the money they earn is obscene. Jeez.
And that's not the players' fault, though. That's
It's
what I
not.
find incredible. Is like the fans blame the players. You have to blame. You have to blame the institutions that allow these players to be paid so much. They shouldn't be. Like,
It's
it's insane.
because we're paying too much. Look, I live in Florida, right? So I pay my cable like with options to be able to watch USA. USA is an NBC channel, so they show the matches, but they are selective in what they want to show. So if you want to watch a Liverpool match, you have to subscribe to their online streaming, which is Peacock, right? So you have to do Peacock. That's for the league, and then Amir and Iman, you guys are in the States, right?
God, you must be up
Yeah.
really early watching those
Right.
games.
So
Yeah.
if you want to watch FA Cup, you must be streaming ESPN. And then if you
ESPN,
want to
yeah.
watch Champions League, you must be streaming
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus. Yeah.
So you can imagine how much money you have to pay to watch all that. And it keeps going up. It keeps going up. It keeps going up. And they just like every 6 months they just tell you they've added some more money to it. And what am I going to do? Stop watching football? I can't stop it.
It's true. It's true. It's a drug. It's a drug.
Some time ago, it used to be one channel that shows everything. Right now, yeah.
Seb, jump in if you want. Seb. So that's my mate. He lives near Selhurst Park.
Ravi has a question. He says, "How does Fabinho and Hendo at their age work alongside McAllister?" I'd cry if Henderson is still a starter next year. Honestly, I'd cry.
Man, please.
Listen,
McAllister will be like run into the ground just like them two in a few seasons time, man. Like it's just.
I have a piece of advice for you, right? Don't get a coronary if you see Henderson starting next season. Don't get a coronary, okay? Anything is possible with Klopp, and they could tell you, because I have heard new things of it, that the new players need to get acclimatized to the league. And I asked the question, what is preseason for? Right?
Well,
your first match is against Chelsea.
Well, the pre-season, and this is something that people aren't talking about much. A lot of the players that we're linked with are actually in the under-21 tournaments, and that's going to be in pre-season. So they're going to need a holiday when they finish their tournament, depending on how far they get. And if we're linked with two French under-21s, then they're going to be
and a Spanish one.
Yeah, they're probably going to go towards the end. So I can see those players not starting the first couple of games. It's going to be a really weird start to the season because we're not going to have Salah for a start. So he's going to be at the AFCON.
No, he's going to be there. He's going to be there in August. AFCON is January.
January to February. Yeah.
I thought he was missing 2 games. This next season.
Next season,
missing 10 games, isn't he, in total?
Yeah.
Well,
sorry.
Not the
AFCON.
That's relative. First of all, it depends on whether Egypt go far. Okay, if Egypt get knocked out early, he comes back after 4 games. Okay.
I don't know why he hasn't.
I just hope Salah wins something with internationally. I just hope Salah wins something.
I don't understand why he hasn't retired now. Like the amount of heartbreak he had over the last year or so.
Retire from Egypt?
Yeah,
from Egypt.
Are you crazy? Are you serious? Let me tell you what, Mohamed Salah did not contest an election in Egypt. There was a presidential election. He got 3.5 million write-in ballots. Write-in. He didn't contest. He is the biggest sportsman in the Arab world. Forget Egypt.
Do you think he'd be a politician when he retires?
He could be president of Egypt. All he has to do is contest.
He could be a commentator for Egypt. He could be a
I was
pundit.
thinking he might do like what the Klitschko brothers.
You have to understand how big a
Shevchenko
star
did.
he is. There are 22 million people in Cairo. Mohamed Salah doesn't get to breathe when he gets to Egypt. He can't say he won't play. It's not possible. His family is going to be in trouble. He's going no.
All right, I didn't think of it like that.
Listen,
I didn't think of him being in danger.
You guys in Europe, you don't take football as seriously as people in Africa and the Middle East take it, You know. There's this Nigerian player, Obafemi Martins. Remember him?
Obafemi Martins, yeah. He used to play for Newcastle.
Exactly. There was a match that Nigeria was playing, and he asked for permission because he said his mom was sick. And somebody saw him at the airport when the match was going on at Lagos airport. They seized his luggage and told him he should go and play because his colleagues were playing. And I was like, hey, look, my mom is saying, just shut the fuck up. Your mom is not going to die before the end of the match. Go and play. It was like a crowd. Nearly lynched him because his colleagues were playing. That's how much that's how serious they take the game. I mean, in Ghana, for example, the Ayu brothers, they don't go anywhere without like security. They are like, and because their father was also a big player, captain of the national team. Hey, Mohamed Salah just can't get up and say, I'm not going to play for Egypt. That's haram.
Oh, okay.
He can't do that.
Do you remember the Colombian defender who scored that own goal?
Yeah,
in the
the guy
World
who
Cup,
killed.
and then he was killed.
Yeah.
He was killed by the gangs.
Yeah.
Quite incredible, eh?
Because they had gone and bet on the game.
And Adebayor as well. Do you remember the Ivory Coast? The bus got shot up.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
yeah, you're right. It's crazy stuff.
They take football a lot more serious in Africa and the Middle East than you think. I mean, it's over here. You can just get up. Oh, I won't play again. Okay, all right.
Jump on, so the link's in the chat. Jump on.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm not going to play again. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, okay.
That's not going to happen then.
No. Not where we come from. You can't do that. If you try.
But yeah, what I was saying though is, yeah, I think like a lot of the players that we're signing, they're in the under-21 squads for this upcoming tournament, which is in like Colombia or somewhere like that, isn't it? It's in a weird place.
Yeah,
the European under 21 is where? Isn't it in France?
Oh no, it's not in Colombia. That's the under-19s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is. It is in France. Yeah, so they're probably going to need like a break when they come back anyway.
And another one, Kanu. This guy, the guy who used to play for Chelsea, John Obi Mikel, right?
Yeah.
Obi Mikel. His dad was kidnapped.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, his dad was kidnapped.
Yeah.
And you know the story.
Wasn't Tevez's dad kidnapped as well?
Who?
Tevez.
Yeah, but
Remember
in
Tevez?
Obi Mikel's case, you know what happened? He went somewhere to some nightclub or something, and some guys asked him for money, and he was like, "Hey, I don't have any money to give you guys." And I mean, the guys who asked him were gangs. They just went and kidnapped his dad, and he paid them $2 million before they released him. And if he hadn't paid, they would have killed him.
Didn't Pogba's I think it was his brother or his friend.
His brother tried to jack him up for some
His brother
money.
tried to jack him up.
Use some black magic stuff in Guinea. And
some voodoo shit. It was
Yeah.
just
Insane.
man. Where we come from, they don't play. They don't. People like these. Some of the players consult oracles and stuff before they play. They have all these talismans around their waist, around their leg. It's serious football. It's serious business, man. You have to come to Ghana, like Ghana, Nigeria, to see what the Premier League has done to the local league. It's almost non-existent. Everybody now supports an EPL side. So the local leagues are dying. Like the local leagues are dying.
That's a real shame.
Well, market your product, right? The EPL is a well marketed product. It's one of the best marketed products ever. I mean, it's not just our local league. It's blown away Serie A, blown away La Liga. The French league doesn't exist. Even the Bundesliga doesn't exist. I mean, if you find out what some of the other, like some of the other players in the other leagues, and it's no close to. I mean, I'm sure Bournemouth and more players in Bournemouth earn more money than the second teams in most countries.
Yeah, well, they've signed a load of African players as well, haven't they? They've signed a load of their
because they are cheap.
Yeah,
and they accept anything. To think that a player like Caicedo was earning £4,500 a week, right? And they want to sell him for £90 million.
They've turned down. Sorry, not Caicedo. Can we talk a little bit about transfers? Are you up for that? Are you up for that? So Declan Rice transfer has been turned down. 90 million. Apparently Arsenal have offered, and they've turned it down. Isn't that insane? It's Declan Rice worth more than 90 million. You can have Kone for 35. That's insane.
Apparently, Bayern Munich is very close to agreeing personal terms with Kim and Jae. They're trying to sign Kim and Jae. Man United is in the race, but they're not doing anything. And Newcastle are also in the race, but that's about it. So
Kim and Jae's got a £50 million release clause as well, hasn't he? That everybody knows about.
Yeah.
It's insane. Those players as well. They are really hard-working players. I don't understand. I don't understand why we wouldn't be interested in a South Korean or a USA player or a player that we could market, because we're so good at marketing players and dealing with all of that side of the business. It's just another way of making more revenue. I don't understand why we're not involved in that.
I think they're interested in Tyler Adams.
I heard about that. Yeah.
I'm a massive fan of Tyler Adams. He's the reason why him getting injured is the reason why Leeds went down for me. Him and Musa. Have you seen Musa?
Yeah, Musa is Ghanaian.
Musa, he is a brilliant player as well. And he's homegrown as well.
Musa is from the same academy as Kamaldeen Sulemana and Mohamed Kudus. It's an academy that was specially created by a guy. He's a British guy. He came and created the academy. It was for underprivileged kids. It's called Right to Dream Academy. And most of the players that they are turning out from include Fatawu Isaaku and all this. Most of them have a similar story. They come from underprivileged homes. You have talent, and they're doing well. There's another kid who's coming, another Ghanaian kid. He's called Enes Nuama. He's coming into the limelight. He still plays for Northern, but he's a terrific player. I mean, he's being rated as the next thing. Apparently, Dortmund want him. And we're going to hear from him soon because he's only 19.
I think Man City have got a link with their academy, Nordsland.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I think Man City have a lot of those Man City players, the young ones that are all on loan. They're all like Ghanaian and that. I think that link is with Nordlands, or it's someone like that in
I think
the
Leicester
Norwegian
City
league.
also have that link
A lot of players, a lot of those African players
because
do go to
that's where
Scandinavia.
this guy came from. Daniel Amate came from,
Yeah,
and Francis Amuzu, and they were, you know,
it's crazy
no,
though, isn't it? It's crazy though. Like you're from Ghana,
Mhm.
or you know, you're from a hot country, like a really hot country,
Mhm.
and that's where you've learned how to play football, and then you go and play in the snow.
I'll tell you what compels you. It's the cash.
What's that?
It's the money.
Oh God, yeah, no, absolutely. But I'm just saying, like, it must be
Where
mad that you're like
where
playing
those
in the hot and
kids
then you're playing in the cold.
where those kids come from, put them in the freezer and they'll play. Right?
I mean, have you heard the story about Mane, like when he was growing up, and like how he borrowed a pair of football boots that weren't his when he did his trial in France. Did you hear about that?
Listen, I'm from Ghana, so I know some of those areas. I know some of those kids. I know where they come from. It's not a pleasant story. I can only be happy for them because you'll be surprised that their wages and their salary basically feeds their villages, right? There's this kid called Osman Bukari. He actually went and rebuilt the whole school in his village. The primary and middle school in his village. He went and rebuilt the whole thing. And he plays for Red Star Belgrade. He played in the World Cup. He actually scored a goal in the World Cup. He's a very, very good player. So I'm sure you've heard the stories of what money has to do with his money, and it's a village thing. I mean, the people know you from when you didn't have anything, so you don't kind of like abandon them, because you've left your relatives there. If you do that, you might come back one day and nobody will be left in your home.
Well, he said, didn't he? He said when he left to sign for Bayern Munich, he said he needed more money for the village.
Yeah.
He literally said that's the reason why. Like he hasn't lied about it.
It's an obligation that people like don't understand. Why do you have to give your money to the village? Well, where they come from,
the pressure they're under, it's insane.
Yeah, where they come from, for most of them, they even like eat together. They grow up together. They basically, it's the word I'm looking for is communal. It's a communal upbringing. So if you do well, you don't do well but for yourself and by yourself. You do well for everybody else.
Is that the same with a lot of French players as well then? Because a lot of French players have got African backgrounds, haven't they?
Yes.
Because you don't really, the majority of French people.
For those of us, I can say this completely for those of us who come from West Africa, it's our culture. That's our culture. We have a saying that we say it takes a village. It's the village. And when you say the village, is the communal thing. Your uncles, your aunties, if your parents, if you're lucky enough that your parents are alive, it's a communal thing. You don't escape it. You don't shirk it. You face it. It's even I have to do it, but to a lesser extent, because I basically grew up a little bit more privileged. So yeah.
What about you guys from America then? Are you from African backgrounds or are you just
me? I'm from Ghana.
Born bred. No, I'm talking to the
Copites. Man.
What was the question again?
So are you born and bred Americans, or have you got background in Africa?
I was born in England.
Huh?
Yeah, I was born in Torquay, England.
Torquay.
Torquay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've been to Torquay.
Yeah, it's like a small village that has the beaches and stuff like that. And
And
yeah,
the, and the
I
fishing,
didn't
and
remember
the fishing
much.
harbor.
Hmm?
And the fishing harbor, right?
Yeah, Torquay's nice.
Yeah, Turkey's nice.
And you, man?
My parents are from Haiti. A very
Oh,
poor country.
Haiti.
It's
Okay.
terrible right now.
What's that?
Yeah, but I was born in Florida,
Oh, okay.
America.
Oh,
Okay.
Iman, do you live in Florida?
Yeah,
Which city?
like near Orlando, like Ocoee.
I'm in Orlando. Do you know that?
Really?
Y'all can
Bringing
link
people
up together. Y'all can link up together, bro.
I'm in Deltona.
Wow.
I
I
live
think my
just up
cousins
the
live
I-4.
there.
I live just up the I-4. I know
Yeah, my
Ocoee. I
cousins
know
live
Ocoee
there.
very well. You
Yeah.
have the big Best Buy in Ocoee, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
massive Best Buy.
yeah.
And so like you are like around the 528, right?
Hmm.
You live near the
Yeah, around
528?
there.
Yeah, I know Ocoee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live up the road. I live after Sanford, exit 111 off the I-4. That's where I live.
Mm.
So we
There
have
you
to
go.
hook up.
Small
We have
world.
to hook up.
Small world.
We have
Small
to
world.
hook up one of these days and do like a joint program, right?
Yeah.
So are
You
are
know,
you from Florida as well then, Amir? Are you in Florida?
Oh no, I'm
Nah,
in
he's in
Texas
Texas.
right now. Yeah,
You're
I'm
in
in Texas.
Texas.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Oh, wow, okay.
humid as heck. The weather is just crazy. It's just like 1 minute it's just hot, and then the second minute it's just like raining. It's just crazy, man.
it was 100 degrees here yesterday, but today it's raining, so it's a little cooler today.
Yeah.
I'm in a place called Penn, which is in Buckinghamshire in England. But I lived in Germany for like 9 years. I was in the army in
Oh,
the British Army for
Oh,
12
okay.
years. Yeah, and I moved back to London, and I lived in London for the last 4 years. And then obviously I bought a house in the countryside, and I live in the countryside now. We got away from
nice.
London.
So
It got really dangerous after COVID.
you are gentry, right? You are
Yeah,
stiff upper lip.
step up on it.
You know,
But it got really dangerous. It got really dangerous after COVID in London. There was a lot of knife crime, and there was a lot of like there was a lot of women that got raped in parks and kidnapped and stuff. It was all over the news.
and in Liverpool too.
And some of the places were like really close to where we lived, so it got really dangerous. And my wife didn't want to go out walking the dogs and stuff, and I was like, let's just get out of the city. Yeah.
You know, I have like a little bit of a story, because I went to school in Swansea. I went to college in Swansea, University of Swansea. That's where I was educated. So
I've been to Swansea as well.
yeah, I lived in the UK for 4 years, and then I moved over to America after that. And I absolutely love my time in Wales. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful country. Beautiful people.
It is. Well, I'm like 95% Welsh because Liverpool get all their water from Wales.
Oh, okay.
That's a joke.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
95% water.
So I remember when I was in college, and you know, like a college kid, you didn't have a lot of money. So if I wanted to go watch a Liverpool match, I had to take the cheap train, right? And the cheap train goes through Wrexham. So you have to go. It goes through Wrexham. You have to change like 3 trains to get to where you're going, and it was like a third of the price. So basically, instead of taking the intercity thing that goes maybe from Swansea and then either like Manchester or Birmingham, and then it's a straight thing to Liverpool, I have to go to Wrexham, and then there was another city called Chester. Am I right?
Yeah, Chester and Crewe.
Right.
And
Right.
Crewe as well.
Yeah, Chester and Crewe. Yeah. That's the place. Chester and Crewe. And you take the little rattling trains that go.
Yeah.
And they're like 5 hours instead of 2.5 kind of thing. But it was all good. I was young, and these days I can't sit in that train, man. My back will break.
I've got a question for you. I've got a question for you all. Actually, are you looking forward to Inter Miami then with Messi? Because that's in your backyard.
I'm going to watch it.
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch it live. If they
I'm
play
gonna watch
against Dallas, then yeah, I'm definitely gonna go out there
I'm
and
going to
see
watch it.
Messi.
I've never seen Messi
Yeah.
play. I'm going to watch that. I have to watch it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Man,
I can't wait to see how he learns how to speak English. I'm really excited.
He's gonna have to learn.
this morning, he was outrageous against Australia.
Oh yeah, I saw that match. Did you see the way he threw the pass?
Dude is getting better as he grows up.
For real, man.
That's another one, isn't it? Messi isn't going to be able to retire.
No, but see, you must be extremely disciplined to be the best player in your craft. Never get injured because you are ultra disciplined. He never gets injured, and he's the most targeted player on the pitch. Everybody's looking to do something to him, right? And he's still kicking it at that age, man.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Look at Wayne Rooney's stomach. Look at his belly. And he's younger than Messi, right? Wayne Rooney is younger than Messi.
Think about Messi though. I genuinely believe that he makes the right decisions all the time. Like he's always making the right decision. Like, leaving Barcelona when he did to go to PSG to play in the Farmers League for a couple of years. You know what I mean? He's making the right decisions, I think. I mean, he's probably the reason why Barcelona went bankrupt. It's probably because of Messi. People need to understand that's probably the reason why Barcelona went bankrupt.
He's extremely disciplined, family man, adores his kids, goes home immediately. If you listen to,
he goes home to a nice place. Have you seen his house? It looks like a football.
Yeah.
Well, that was in Barcelona. That was the one he had in Barcelona.
What is his friends, what his colleagues say about him? Guy is always the first person on the training pitch. When training is done, he goes, sits in his car, he goes home. That's it. That's all he does. He just goes home. He doesn't go to any bars. He doesn't drink. He doesn't do anything. He just goes home. Goes home to his wife and his kids. You can't ask for better than that. Aggressive training, that's just Messi. Thing is, like Salah.
It's a true professional of their craft, isn't it? There's only a few that are like that are like really
Mohamed
just
Salah. He never gets injured.
He's one
never
of them.
gets injured. Careful with his diet, and apparently, when he was a kid, he had growth issues. So Barcelona took a punt on him and basically took care of his.
Yeah, they paid for his hormones. I think they paid for it.
They paid for it.
That's part of the deal.
Yeah. He's that guy. He's something special.
He almost never made it.
It took me like a real long time to get sold on him, but his dedication to his craft, amazing guy, man. Quiet, doesn't talk too much. He just gets it done. You can't ask for better than people who just get it done, right?
It's crazy as well though, because like I don't normally feel happy for like players that win World Cups and other countries that win World Cups, but I was genuinely really happy that he won the World Cup. Like it was just like, I'm really happy he won the World Cup, and it could have easily have been like Ronaldo and him in the World Cup final. I would have been torn between both of them, but I was really happy that he won, and I didn't.
He really did get the monkey off his back, didn't he?
Yeah,
get the big. But incidentally, I think in 2014 he played better than he played in 2018.
Yeah.
Alexis McAllister helped him though, by the way.
A lot. I'm glad you bring that up. Alexis McAllister was the best player bar Messi in that team. I mean, Messi got 6 penalties, because FIFA needed him to win the match win the World Cup to cover their corruption. But Alexis McAllister was amazing.
He was amazing, man.
Yeah, I don't know why Liverpool fans are complaining that we bought a mediocre player. I don't know where that comes from.
He's not
What?
mediocre.
I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it. How is he mediocre?
I mean, the Liverpool
He cost
fans
35
actually
million.
know that he played for Boca Juniors when he was 20. Like
Yeah.
Boca Juniors is like Liverpool. Like the fans are fanatical. Like, and he dragged them to a league title when he was 20.
His dad used to play for Boca Juniors.
Is that played with Maradona?
Yeah, and he played with Maradona. Yeah.
It was weird as well because when he first came to the Premier League, I thought he was Scottish.
I thought he was Irish when he
didn't know he
came.
was
He's
I thought he
Irish.
was Irish.
He's Irish.
And you've seen him as well. I was like, is that a Scottish player?
He's
or
Irish.
Irish player? Like,
He's Irish.
I heard him
He's
talk.
Irish.
Dang.
He's Irish.
Irish.
His family. I saw the documentary on him. His family came to Argentina in 1870.
Wow.
1870. But if you listen to him, he's so intelligent. He actually discusses football, and you kind of like, whoa, guy knows. He talks about football, the tactical aspects of the game, and he knows what he's talking about. Man, you should have seen him today.
Yeah.
He was something else today.
I'm gonna watch some highlights.
Yeah, get that.
You know what I really like about him as well, and a lot of people aren't talking about it, is he's going to make the decision for our strikers. And that's the problem we've had with like a Nunes and a Gakpo, is they've had to make the decisions themselves before they take the shots. He makes the decisions for them. So all they've got to do is put it in the net. Like he'll put it on the right side of where the chance should be, whether it's left or right.
Remember the
Make
assist.
sure that
Remember
it
the
goes right
assist
to the
in the
place where
final.
they need to shoot.
Remember the assist in the final.
Yeah.
That pass for
Di
Di
Maria.
Maria.
Jesus. But it's the speed as well. It's the speed. He gets the ball and it's gone straight away, or he's avoided a couple of tackles.
He has this
distance.
thing. He has this thing where he lets the ball run across his body, and then he hops, steps, and skips. And by the time you realize it's in a really bad place for the defense. He does that for Brighton. Does that for Brighton a whole lot. I mean, I think we if we get those other additions that are threatening to come, whatever anybody does won't make a difference. The only thing that will make a difference is if Klopp does Klopp, and before you realize Elliott and Henderson are starting, and those boys are sitting on the bench. Like he's done.
I genuinely think Kepler Fulham is going to be a DM. I genuinely think he's even said recently he wants to play more defensive.
He's going to play him at 6.
Yeah.
He's going to play him as a 6.
I think so.
He's going to play him as a 6. I mean, I have absolutely...
Yeah.
He simply... Look, I've kept telling people, and I Klopp is going to go back to 4-3-3.
No.
I don't see it though, because he's got rid of Ramsey, but
Ramsey was a fruitcake. What else could he have done?
But he's got rid of the backup, and we're not linked with any right side.
K-Mack.
Connor Bradley.
Connor Bradley. He made yeah.
K-Mack, you are old enough to remember Rob Jones. Remember Rob Jones?
What a player!
What a fucking player!
You know what? Do you want to know something funny? I used to bet £1 on him to score every game when I was a kid.
What a fucking player!
Because he was 250 to 1.
That guy is the best right back who has ever played for Liverpool. But guess what happened? By the time he was 25, the growth issues ruined his game. He had to retire because of the shin splints that he was getting all the time.
Yeah,
so Liverpool should never ever buy a player with growth issues because they have experience of it. I don't know how that happened with Calvin Ramsey. Dude is a fruitcake.
It's the same with Kate Gordon.
Yeah, there's Kate Gordon who's having those issues. The guy is a
fruitcake. I really hope it's not the same as Stefan Bajcetic. I hope it's not.
Listen, don't say that, because that's what is going to happen. See, when anybody, you're a kid and you get injuries, right, that they become recurring. So it's not like he's going to become a cripple. but every now and then he's going to show up. That's why
it's that injury as well. It's the adductor, isn't it?
adductor
It's
muscle.
the one which Thiago keeps on getting.
Exactly. You can't do anything about it. You see, that's the reason why I thought it was so weird that we took the fortunes of Liverpool and placed it on the shoulders of an inexperienced 18-year-old. Right?
He was 17 when we started him.
Exactly.
Insane.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Bajcetic was really exposed when we played Real Madrid.
Oh, he was terrible in some games.
Badly exposed.
Really exposed.
I mean, did you see, was it the 5th goal or the 4th goal? Did you see the way Modric just swatted him aside?
Yeah, it was really bad for him. I was like, wow.
It was men against boys, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you know, he actually did the decent thing of attempting to get a professional foul, like bring him down. You know,
Yeah, he did.
Bring him down because Henderson ignored him. Henderson was like, okay, you know, and he tried to bring Modric, just swatted him, like, you're young enough to be my son. Get the fuck out of my way. I need to score this. and he was so exposed, and then he gets injured. So basically, you know, I just hope that I hope that we are not going to place the fortunes of our team on his shoulders again. I hope we're going to get like Thuram, because look, Fabinho's done. Okay, Fabinho.
His legs are gone, like all gone. Man.
You will get a good performance out of him because he's always been a good player. Okay, but I have the strongest suspicions that Fabinho is not 29 years old.
No,
I'm convinced he's 29 years old.
He's 30. He's 38 right now.
but if you look at the amount of minutes he's done on Miles,
I don't know
like
whether
he has
you guys
been ran to the ground.
The amount of yellow cards he's done too. Oh my!
Did you guys actually see the publication that there were some suspicions that he was actually from Peru? Did you see that?
Oh,
yeah, that he was actually from Peru, and you know, I won't be surprised.
He does look Brazilian, though. Does look Brazilian.
Yeah, he is Brazilian, but see, Brazil is also a big migrant community. A lot of people don't realize that there are about 6 or 7 countries that border Brazil, and they are the richest country in that neighborhood. So people migrate there for economic reasons, right? Some of them, you know, they don't. I say this because of where I come from, and like, look, I don't believe for a moment that Caicedo is 21. I don't believe it. Does he play football like a 21-year-old?
No.
Does he play? Think about it. Does he play football like a 21-year-old?
No.
I don't think so. Do you honestly think Estupinian is 20? Does he play football like a 20-year-old?
Estupinian's a lot older than he is.
Yeah,
he looks it.
And you see,
do you remember that Italian Nigerian? Do you remember him?
Is it Crisantos?
He was the one that was like playing in the under-18s, and he was basically a grown-ass man.
Nigerians, Ghanaians,
Remember him?
Nigerians, Ghanaians, those of us from West Africa, that's what we do.
He must have been in his 30s, and he was playing with the under-18s.
Yeah. But guess what? In Ghana, right? And I'm talking just a few months ago. You know, these days they have like an MRI thing that has what you call carbon dating, right? So it can tell your age. So the whole of the ladies under 17 team was disbanded because they got to the tournament and only 2 of them were like close to 17. So the team came home, and we've been banned for 2 tournaments. We've been banned. So I mean, look at Keita, right? Most of us, people of Negroid like origin, we don't lose our hair that easily because our hair follicles are very hard. We don't lose it that easily. The guy says he's 27 and he's already has receding hair He's balding. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. So he's gotten to a point where he always has to cut his hair like really low. Check out when he first came to Liverpool like 5 years ago. He almost had like an afro. Now he takes it really low because he doesn't want anybody to see that he's balding. How does a 27-year-old bald? That dude is like 35. That's also the reason. That's also the reason why he doesn't get his injuries don't heal. That's the reason why, per his own confession, a few days ago, he found training in Liverpool very difficult. You're not a kid, so it's more difficult to recover. Oh yeah. So are you telling me this guy is what? How he's 20? How can you tell me that?
It was the guy in the middle. He played for Inter Milan, I think, under 18s.
Can you believe that? I mean, back in the day, something happened. You know, Kanu Wanko, right? The great Kanu Wanko. His kid went to the British High Commission to ask for a visa. The kid was 14 and Kanu was 24. So he got to the embassy and he's like, I want to go visit my dad. He's a football player, Arsenal, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, so who's your dad? Say Kanu Wanko. And the guy like, but your dad is supposed to be 24. What the hell what business did he have having a kid at 10 years old? A lot of them.
He was a good player.
Oh, he was a fantastic player. Fantastic player.
Whether he was underage or not, he was a good player.
But see, there's a cultural reason why that happens. By the time you grow up, and they have what you call a code system with the football. By the time you grow up and get to the top of the code football and get to play like a first or second division team, you are not exactly a kid. So, and also, I hate to say this, but for reasons of nutrition and other things, a 20-year-old kid over here is fully developed, like big kid, 20 years old. But 20 years old, where we come from, you're not like the growth metrics are not the same. It's just unfortunate, but that's what it is. So,
but you're right though. Next season we can't be putting any pressure on kids.
We can't do that.
We can't do that.
And you see, we destroy their careers. Look at Elliot. We've messed them up. We've messed Elliot up.
Because under a bus. It's not Elliot's fault he can't play in midfield because he's not a bloody midfielder. I had this conversation on another panel, and basically, and this is mainly the reason why Liverpool have not been great this season, is because for some mad reason, Klopp decided that he was going to have a midfield of 2 championship players because Elliot is a championship player because that's where all his experience has been because he played for a championship team, Blackburn Rovers. Yeah. And Carvalho came from Fulham that were a championship team. And he decided he's going to use a 19-year-old and two 19-year-olds in the centre of our midfield this season. How on earth was that ever going to work?
And even worse than that, play them in positions that they were not accustomed to.
Exactly. Because in the championship, they played as a number 10 and a number 7 or an 11 on the wing.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's a double whammy of and I don't know how our manager thinks. You see, those of us who want Klopp to go.
But was it Klopp though, Albert? That's what you need to ask. Was it actually Klopp that decided this was a good idea? Because
who's the manager?
I know, but did he give the tactics to somebody else?
Is it John Henry?
No.
Is it Linders?
I feel like it was Linders at some stage.
Okay, good. But see, we Liverpool fans have to decide what we want, right? When it's all good, it's Klopp. When it's all bad, it's Linders, right? Why? I made a decision to stop criticizing Pep Linders, because when it's all good, it's Klopp. When it's all
bad, it's Linda's.
When it's all bad.
you can decide which part of the fence you're on. You can't have your cake and eat it.
Yeah, you can't have it
we are
both ways, you're right.
assuming if we are assuming that Linders does all the bad, then it's imperative that we also accept that Linders does all the good. Because in the last 11 games that we didn't lose a match, nobody had a pip squeak about Linders, right? Nobody referred to Linders' book. Nobody referred to anything Linders. As soon as shit starts going wrong, whoa, it's Linders. It's Linders. It's Linders. Come on, man. Let's decide what we're going to do.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. I can't disagree with that. Like, I can't disagree with that.
Because look, Pep Linders, for all his faults, and his faults are very glaring, he also has some good things.
Yeah.
Right? He has some good things that he's done. I am not like for example, you have to know that he brought Gakpo. It's imperative. It's like no prizes for guessing he brought Gakpo. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of us were against the idea of bringing Gakpo, but we were wrong. Clearly, we were wrong. I always used to call him the wrong Ghanaian, remember? But we were wrong, because he's an excellent player.
Excellent player.
He's an excellent. He's going to get even better next season.
Yeah,
so
For real.
some of the things that he did, some of the I'm very, very sure that he coached this 3-box-3 formation. I'm sure he coached it. So if it's working, why are we now saying, oh, it's Klopp? Oh, it's Klopp and Klopp this. No, yeah, let's give him the credit where it's due. I think he's not as bad as we say he is, but given the kind of dross that we exhibited in the season, we needed to find a scapegoat. And Liverpool fan base is so dedicated to their manager, they needed a listen.
They need a scapegoat, FSG and Linders.
Right.
Not going to blame Klopp.
And never Klopp.
And now Jude.
But see, FSG are the ones who brought in Klopp, remember? So at the very least, they've done something right. They brought in the Messiah. They brought the Messiah. So
we could have had Ancelotti, by the way. We could have had Ancelotti.
Sorry?
We could have had Ancelotti. They wanted Ancelotti first.
Yeah, but we couldn't promise him the money he wanted. So
well, he wanted to get rid of the spine because he said it was shit, which it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which it really was. It was really spine.
So for me, I think that we cannot have our cake and eat it. We love our manager so much that we always find any excuse we want for him. But ultimately, he's responsible for everything. Now we've brought a new lexicon into football. We call it credit in the bank. What the fuck is credit in the bank?
Yeah.
Credit's gone. Credit's gone.
The guy, look, Klopp's record, right? His record is not that good.
No,
okay.
It's not.
You've come second on several occasions to one team in the Champions League. Come second to one team. I mean, look, Pep was beaten by Real Madrid last year. This year, he vowed it won't happen, and it didn't happen. He completely took them apart.
He destroyed.
Why haven't we been able to do that? I mean, at the time we were able to overcome Manchester City and win the league. We should never have come back down. But what did we do? You were the one who said it yesterday. I didn't even know that was the time we bought Elliot, Adrian, and who was the third guy?
Sepp Vandenberg.
I mean, that's a lack of ambition right there.
Yeah.
We need to do better, man. We need to do better. And when people keep complaining, oh, the fan base is frustrated. We are frustrated because that's not the Liverpool that we want. We thought that the era, the 30-year wait was over, right? We actually did think, and if you go down and K-Mack, you know the history of Liverpool as well as I do. Many people don't understand that there was nothing wrong with Liverpool until Graham Souness decided that he didn't want to work with the players that he used to play with. Right? Recall, he got rid of, when he became player manager, he got rid of all the players he used to play with. That's what
he got rid of them all at once.
Exactly, at once.
Like,
and then he brought in the likes of McManaman, Robbie Fowler, and co. But they were not ready for prime time. So what is going on today with Elliott and Carvalho and Bacetic and all this? It's not something that hasn't happened before. He got rid of all. Remember, he got rid of Sammy Lee. He got rid of McLaurinson. He got rid of Ian Rush,
John Barnes.
He got rid of everybody all at once. You know, and this guy, Ray Houghton. No, not Ray Houghton. Ronnie Whelan, Jan Moby, Alan Kennedy. He got rid of all of them. And Alan Kennedy had scored. Remember, he scored 2 goals in 2 of our finals. So he won
2 European Cup final goals.
Right. He won us 2 finals, and then you got rid of him.
And he scored penalties as well.
Right. And then you know what happened, right? He went and gave an interview in The Sun. Right? And Liverpool supporters were like, no, you're not coming back. They forced him to resign in a sick bed. He had heart surgery, and they forced him to resign. Like, get out of our
team. I was in the COP when they started chanting Souness out.
Yeah.
At the Bristol. Do you remember the Bristol City 2-1 defeat?
Exactly.
At home. I was in the COP when we started chanting it, and you could see him on the touchline, and he just looked up and went, and then he was gone the next day.
Yeah, he knew what was up. But he's been a player.
I was there. I was actually there.
He's been a player. And then remember he got rid of Bruce Grobler too.
Yeah.
He got rid of Bruce Grobler and brought Mike Hooper. So our history.
Mike Hooper.
Yeah. Useless goalkeeper. Completely.
He's American. He was American, money Hooper.
Yeah. Yeah. Hooper.
He's got a really good track record of American goalkeepers.
Yeah, Brad Friedel as well. Brad Friedel.
Yeah, Brad Friedel.
Yeah, they met the wrong time.
But we in Liverpool, we didn't have any problem because what we were actually doing was we were basically flashing out our team. Like you bring 1 or 2 people in, and then somebody leaves, bring 1 or 2 people in. He just got rid of all our players at the same time, and we're not the same for 30 years. But many people don't know that. So they say, "Oh, Klopp is the one who is the next best thing since sliced bread." You don't know the history of Liverpool.
We've won a lot with other managers.
Joe Fagan was even more. He was even more successful than Bob Paisley.
Can you imagine how many European Cups we'd have won if we hadn't have been kicked out for 5 years?
We were kicked out
5
for
years
6.
when we were in our pomp.
We were kicked out for 6. The rest
was
of
it 6?
England,
Sorry, I thought it was 5.
We got 6. England got 5. The rest of England got 5. We got 6 because of the Heysel disaster.
Mm-hmm. That was insane.
And that was a match.
Wow.
Basically, they gave Juventus a gimme. That was a match that we were winning.
Yeah.
If you remember, we were winning it 1-0, and then the incident happened, and they gave the cup to Juventus.
It was insane because it was a structural disaster as well.
Structural disaster. How do you blame supporters?
How do you blame fans for a wall collapsing?
Structural disaster. And 38 years on, they write a report and said the fans cannot be blamed. Okay, if the fans cannot be blamed, give us our trophy.
Yeah.
Because you just went and fucking gave that trophy to Juventus. Like just handed it over to them. We have a storied history. People don't know the history, and then they tell you, "Oh, have you ever been to Anfield?" Really? I'm
gonna I'm gonna end the show here because this has been absolutely fantastic, by the way, and I could talk all night.
Fantastic. You should do this more,
Fantastic,
K-Mack.
man.
You've
You
been
should do
missing.
this more often.
You've
yeah.
been missing in action.
Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely get you on again, okay?
Yeah.
I'll do another show in a week or so, and I'll hit you up. But this has been brilliant, and it hasn't just been about like whinging about the obvious stuff.
Liverpool.
It's been a great
Liverpool.
conversation about history and how football works, and you know, it's been really, really good. I've had a lot of fun. All right, guys, and I hope everyone who's tuned in liked it as well.
But for me, I'm still really, really upset at Jude Bellingham, man.
Me too, bro. Me too.
And I will be dancing on top of his broken leg when it happens, man.
You want to know something as well?
He's a disrespectful little shit. What do you mean by you were in Zidane's box and after they won, you had made up? So you made up your mind and you were taking a shower with Henderson? Really?
You know what I thought about as well, and a lot of people haven't really talked about it, is what if the conversation was, so he spoke to Liverpool and he spoke to Real Madrid, and Liverpool basically said, you know what, we're going to build a team around you, we're going to make you our nucleus, you're going to become a legend, blah, 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 you're going to be part of the engine room, all this kind of stuff. And he sat there going, I've got a really dodgy knee that I'm probably going to need an operation on, and I'm probably going to need a year out. And then obviously Liverpool have gone, we're probably not going to be able to give you that. That's probably not something we'll want. We'll want you to start right away, build everything around you straight away.
Don't you think Liverpool would have been more accommodating of that? We Liverpool fans would have been accommodating of everything. If we got the guy in crutches, we would have been happy. Right?
But that's not what we needed.
I know. But
and Real Madrid have just gone, you know what? We'll just give Modric another year and you can come in when you want.
It's probable. Look, at this point, K-Mack, anything is probable with that lot and the lies and deceit that anything is possible.
Lies and deceit.
Yeah, I don't put anything past anybody, because for a whole year, you knew you were not going to come to Liverpool, and you were sitting around twerking, doing all these videos. Remember all those videos after the World Cup where he said, no, I'm not going to Manchester United, and we took it as that he's coming to Liverpool. I mean, we've all been sucked in like the fucking giant inferno, right? We've been sucked in.
Do you remember the Liverpool fan that gave him a Trent? He gave him a Trent, like, with Trent on, and he was like, sign that, and he was like,
And when he did the Instagram when we beat them 7-0, and he did the Instagram thing congratulating us and being happy, and we were all sucked in. Like I was like
everyone was on the choo-choo train.
Yeah,
that's what it was. It was the choo-choo train.
I had already assigned him his number, man, in the dressing room.
Can you imagine how many fans have got Jude on their back as well?
Like, many people have Jude. Many people have Jude shirts. Many people have Jude shirts. Many people have Jude shirts. One of my guys on the who's on the Spaces, Mo has a Jude shirt, and he keeps complaining about it. He paid $140. He paid $140.
Tattooed themselves up.
He paid $140 for it. I buy a lot of merchandise, but normally, like the ones that I need to name, I don't put a player's name. I put my own name. I probably would have done it. I probably would have done it, Jude, by now, because frankly, to be honest, I just bought the new match jersey. It's really beautiful. The throwback, because I love the throwback team. Because of the Paisley years, that was the time when, man, we were like serious.
I also like that kit as well, because it looks like the one that Michael Owen wore.
Yeah, exactly. So I bought it. And I actually put my name. I put my name, and it arrived on the day. That McAllister signed. Otherwise, I'd have done Mac 10. I would have done a Mac 10, man. I would have done a Mac 10 because I was I was so pleasantly surprised, right? It arrived the day. This is my kit, right? I'll show you. This is my thing. Can you see it?
I'll see it. Oh, look.
Yeah, I
Yes.
see it. Oh, it looks fire.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And I put my name and my birth date behind it. So like
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I normally do.
Are you a full kit wanker then? Are you?
Sorry?
You wear do you wear the socks and the shorts and that as well when you go out?
I hold on. I'll show you what. I am completely a nutcase when it comes to Liverpool. See the shorts?
Yeah.
I have everything, man. I have everything.
I like that kit as well, Emin. That's probably one of the
I
Yeah.
have
nice
everything.
kits
I
as
have
well.
the training
I like that
jerseys
one.
in all the colors. I have the retro stuff. My wife keeps telling me,
I like
get
this
a
one.
shrine, and let's put
That's
the
a nice
Liverpool
shirt.
stuff. It's like, get a shrine, let's put the Liverpool stuff, man.
We can have a look. We can have a look at that another time. Okay.
Yeah,
I've got
we
to go,
will.
though,
We
okay.
will. I'm gonna do it though. I'm gonna do it.
But guys, it's been brilliant chatting to you. Okay, and we'll
Okay,
catch
man.
up soon. All right.
Oh, yeah, for
Take
sure.
care. Take care, bro.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, man.
Peace.
I'll jump on your show as well
Peace.
sometime if you want, Cop Heights. All right.
Yeah,
Oh
anytime.
man, do 100%.
Anytime.
Yeah.
All right.
And Iman, we have to meet, man. We have to meet. We have to get it. We have to get
Yeah.
the food together, right?
Take care and big up everyone that's been in the chat and asked us questions, and obviously, you know, we'll answer more next time. Okay, but
All right, bro. Take
big
care.
up everyone and
Yes.
take care and good night. Bye.
Peace.
Peace.